Welcome back, everyone, to the Celtics Talk Weekly pregame show. I am your host, Rob, and I am with my co-hosts, Justin Lowe, Celtics Everyday, aka Seamus, and Ian Angelo. We are super excited to present to you guys Celtics Talk Weekly pregame live. We got a very fun one tonight. The Boston Celtics are set to face off against the Miami Heat in Florida, in Miami at 7:30. Tip off probably around 7:40. Usually, this you can watch this game on NBC Sports Boston, not TNT, NBA TV, or over on Ian's TikTok. If you're going to want to watch live reaction, you can head over there. To do so, guys, we got a big game here. Celtics are coming in 3-5. Heat are coming in at a league's best 6-1 on a 5-game winning streak. They currently have the MVP race leader in Jimmy Butler, who's averaging 25, 6-6, I want to say, 7-6. So, the Celtics have their hands full tonight, Justin. And, one thing we've talked about so much that we're going to, get a little bit more into as this goes on is Jason Tatum. And Jason Tatum's kind of struggles here right now. If I were to guess, Jason Tatum will be matched up against Jimmy Butler. What does Tatum need to do tonight on a tough defensive matchup against Butler that we really haven't seen him do?
Well, again,
Yeah?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we cannot hear you. All right, that's okay. We'll direct that question over to Ian.
I'm sorry. You're going to have to repeat the question. I was
no worries.
I was expecting Justin to go, and I just completely forgot the question.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we're good. All right.
Okay. Well, no, what I was saying, that I don't know what the hell happened. But now, something we noticed in that Orlando game last night was Jason Tatum, obviously another slow start. He missed a lot of open looks. I think tonight is going to be a lot about shot making. Obviously, we need his defense tonight as well. But last night, the effort was kind of there with Tatum. At least, in moments, there wasn't really much throwing the arms up, complaining about the ref. I saw a lot of defensive communication between the team. Granted, Orlando Magic and Miami Heat, two totally different teams. But if we can get a little bit more of that we saw last night on the defensive end and shift it over to tonight, that'll do the Celtics really well. Like I said, Orlando Magic, a great young team, but they're definitely not the Miami Heat.
No, not at all, actually. And, however, like you said, they're not they're two completely different teams. Entering tonight's game, the Miami Heat are currently sitting on top of the league on points per game. They're averaging 115.6, which leads the league. And Orlando is all the way at the bottom at 28th, just two spots above the 30th rank, which is the Pistons at 101. So, Ian, now tonight, what do the Celtics have to do as Boston, has been shaky defensively, but kind of solid? What do they have to do tonight on defense against the league's best offense?
They have to stop their two best offensive players, Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero. Now, that's easier said than done, obviously, but that's going to be the most important part. I mean, Jimmy Butler, like you said, he's been, in my opinion, the MVP so far. He has been the MVP frontrunner. And Tyler Hero has been insane off the bench. So if they can somewhat contain both of those two guys, I feel like the Celtics will find a little bit of success tonight.
For sure. Now, along with leading the league in points per game, guys, they are second in the league in rebounds per game. They sit in right under the Utah Jazz for that 2 spot. Celtics aren't too far behind, but at the same time they are. So, Seamus, tonight, what do the Celtics need to do in the rebounding aspect that in order to win the rebounding matchup against this team?
Well, as they say, you got to put an ass into them. Yeah. You got to box out. You got to play physical tonight if you're the Celtics, because this Miami Heat team, they're no joke. They rank first or second in a lot of categories, and one of those categories you mentioned, rebounds. The Celtics, historically, not that great of a rebounding team. Surprisingly, last year with Tristan Thompson, we broke that narrative, but that didn't really matter because we were a bad basketball team. This year, rebounding hasn't been great. They have to come out tonight. If they win the rebounding battle tonight, they're going to have a huge advantage over the Miami Heat, who really do lean on those extra opportunities as well. The Celtics, they take that away from them, add them to their own repertoire. That'll be great for them tonight.
Yeah, huge. And, mind you, I just want us to think about going into this game. Like I said, Heat top scoring team in the NBA. However, the Boston Celtics did beat the second ranked offense in the league, in the Charlotte Hornets. So we've seen the Celtics this year kind of match that fast paced, high scoring offensive approach. We know they can do it. It's just really whether or not they're going to come in and do it, because that's kind of been the whole question so far with the Boston Celtics guys. But, the injury slate isn't completely clean. Josh Richardson with a left foot contusion is out, unfortunately, so we'll be without Richardson. The former Heat will not be playing tonight. Justin, who needs to step up in Richardson's absence for the Celtics to get a win?
Oh boy. I think it's time to dust off the old jersey and get that whiteboard up off its get that whiteboard moving, Ian, because free Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith needs to play now. Something Dennis Schroeder obviously is going to have to step up and play some big minutes tonight off the bench. But Romeo Langford could be a guy you throw in there, and we've seen Romeo so far from the summer league to even last game. He's had one hell of a comeback so far. So we're really going to need those guys. And I don't know what the Celtics necessarily do. Could you see a Jabari Parker type thing come in? Who knows? There's a lot of situations. Luckily, this is how deep the Celtics are. Hopefully, free Aaron Nesmith. Hopefully, we do see some Aaron Nesmith tonight. You missed a lot of shot making, as well as that was a Rob moment, as well as trying to figure out where he needs to be on the court. I think it's Aaron Nesmith.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of Aaron Nesmith, or you might maybe see a lot of Aaron Nesmith, but I think it's going to come down to Romeo Langford. I think you're going to see a lot of Romeo. He kind of plays a very similar game to Richardson. But, I don't see Boston really going more than 8-man deep this game. I think you might see maybe Peyton Pritchard take the court, although I'm super against it. That's someone who you might see. But, Ian, something that we got to talk about is Al Horford here. He's averaging 14 points per game, 11 rebounds, and 3.2 blocks a game, which leads the NBA. He's making his case for the All-NBA defensive team. Is Al's assignment tonight Bam Adebayo, you think, or is it PJ Tucker?
I honestly don't know. I honestly have a feeling that Al Horford is going to be on PJ Tucker to start the night, and then depending on how good Robert Williams does with Bam Adebayo, they might switch it, especially because Rob has had trouble in the past. Just look at him against Embiid, and he's had a little bit of problems. I mean, I could definitely see a situation where Al Horford is guarding Adebayo, but I feel like it's going to be Robert Williams.
Yeah, Seamus, that brings up a good point, because, if Al Horford is on PJ Tucker, he's going to be sitting in the corner a lot, sitting on 3. Do you think there's a chance that we might see Emi ditch the double bigs past that first 5 minutes stretch where you kind of get the starters in there? Or do you think he's going to kind of stick to that traditional double big lineup we have?
Well, I completely worry about the Celtics' perimeter shooting and just perimeter defending in general tonight. I mean, you look at the Miami Heat roster, PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson. You can throw Markieff Morris in there, Tyler Hero. All those guys can kill you from beyond the arc and will operate from the perimeter. Celtics, if they're running the double big lineup, especially early, Al Horford's going to be completely misutilized if he's put on PJ Tucker, because we all know Al Horford. He's one of our best rim protectors. He's our best rim protector, unless you want to say Robert Williams. But so far, they've been pretty much, 1A, 1B for us this season. So I don't think we'll see much of the double big lineup tonight. Obviously, we might see it a little bit more when Dwayne Dedmon comes in. Say they run a double big lineup themselves with Adebayo and Dedmon. I don't know if they do that at all. But if something like that happens, I could see the double big coming in. But I would not be surprised if they go towards a completely different direction, putting in a Nesmith, putting in a Romeo, or maybe even Pritchard, obviously, tonight. Wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
Yeah, for sure. And, that brings us to our key matchup of the game. We were thinking about this one, and we thought there were a lot of different options, but we eventually settled on kind of the generic one, Jason Tatum versus Jimmy Butler. The supposed 2 best players on each team. However, Jaylen Brown's making a case for the Boston Celtics. But, this is a matchup that goes back now almost 2-3 years. Back in the bubble, these 2 guys kind of went at it all series long. So, Justin, what is so important about this matchup for Jason Tatum not even just for this game, but for confidence moving forward. What does this matchup look like?
Well, when I see Jimmy Butler and I see we just faced him the other night, DeMar DeRozan, those two guys aren't typically three-point shooters. Great mid-range game, great aggressive guys who can get to the hoop. Jason Tatum had a really tough time on DeMar DeRozan. Very tough time. DeMar DeRozan actually hit 3 threes in one game. He shot 4 and hit 3. You never see that from DeMar DeRozan. That can't happen tonight against Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler plays a similar way. I'm not saying they're on the same kind of level on each other with Butler and DeRozan, but if Tatum let DeRozan score 37 on him, Jimmy Butler can score double that. That can't happen tonight. It's going to be all about defense. And for Jason Tatum, ultimately, he, like I said earlier in the show, he had great looks last night against the Orlando Magic, and he just couldn't hit them. And that shot making is going to be crucial here tonight because, again, you're down a man. You're missing Josh Richardson, who can shoot the ball pretty well.
Yeah, it's like I said, especially Jason Tatum has been struggling so. I mean, he's almost averaging less points per game than he averaged, 2 seasons ago, that 19-20 season. He's right around 24, 25. Tatum's really been struggling shooting the ball. It's kind of been a trend we've been seeing here for these younger guys. Luka's been struggling shooting, Trae Young, Devin Booker. So Tatum falls into that category. Hopefully tonight will kind of be his wake-up game. But, Ian, you talked about Tyler Hero before, right? But something we haven't talked about is Kyle Lowry. This guy was an all-star not too long ago, and much like Al Horford, people might say, maybe he's not aging as much. However, I disagree with that. What do we have to do to stop Kyle Lowry? Because he's a guy that could sneakily give you 30.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was so concerned about this game is the Heat have so many people that can beat you. It's kind of crazy to think about, but I mean, at this point, I feel like whoever's not going to be on Jimmy Butler and not going to be on Tyler Hero is going to have to be on Kyle Lowry. It's going to either be Marcus Smart or Jaylen Brown, maybe. So I feel like the best thing they can do is and try not to get in the lane when he's driving, I guess. I honestly really don't know because it's kind of hard to stop Kyle Lowry because if he's on, he's on. But, I mean, I feel like the best thing they can do is just try to stay in front of him and hopefully he doesn't get a foul call.
Yeah, well, that brings us to the keys to the game. Seamus, you're going to start us off here tonight. What is your key to the game?
Well, I would say my key to the game, I kind of talked about it last show and even at the beginning of this show. Physicality, be physical, compete tonight, commit to improve tonight. Because you look at the Miami Heat, they might be the best team in the NBA this year. Point blank. Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. That's an all-star trio right there. Two of them are, well, all of them are dogs. Let's just face it. The Heat culture within their organization, they're all dogs there. This team could be the best team in the NBA. The Celtics, looking at their 3 wins thus far. Magic, not too impressed after last night. Rockets, you should beat that team any day. And the Hornets, it took a fourth quarter collapse from the Hornets themselves to grab that win. So the Celtics, I wouldn't expect them to come out blazing fire tonight, but I want to see them compete. I don't expect a win, but I want to see them competitive tonight, trying for a full 48 minutes, even if the end result doesn't pan out towards our record.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think that's something that a lot of people are kind of underlooking is this game doesn't necessarily have to be a win. Although, we are 2 games under 500. So, there should be a sense of urgency we're playing with. But if the Celtics come out here, play a complete 48 minutes and the Heat, who are, like you said, a very good team, and they outplay us, that happens. This is a game where you got to sit back and kind of live with a loss. If it's a close game, you play well. That's not going to be a big thing. But, Justin, what is your key to the game here?
Well, I kind of made a joke about it the other day. I don't think it was against Orlando. But one of the keys to the game was, for me, Jason Tatum, and that is still the case. Jason Tatum, we're going to need – if the Celtics – I shouldn't say if they want any chance of winning, but in the same time, if the Celtics want a good shot at winning, it's going to take a big Jason Tatum night on both ends of the floor, especially scoring, where he's lacked that this season. But I guess, my real key to the game would be start out early, get an early start. The Celtics, even in their wins, have gotten off to just atrocious starts. Just go out there, start early, start good early, and just compete.
And Ian, finish it off.
Yeah, so my key to the game is defense. It's the most important thing. This Miami Heat team is, I'm not shy to say it, they're pretty much the best team in the league right now. And if you want to show, you guys are serious contenders, you got to play defense, and you got to try your best to contain as many guys on this Heat team as you can.
Yeah, I think this, like I said, I'm really interested. I'm looking right here at the Heat's per game stats. I'm seeing, like Bam Adebayo. It's a tough matchup for the Celtics here. It's not going to be easy, but I want to think they're going to surprise us. But like I said, kind of buckle up. Celtics, you never know what you're going to get with them. This could be really good, or this could be really bad. I think it could go either way. With that being said, though, we have over-under here. Tip-off is, we got some time, but we're going to do over-under because I think there's actually a lot to talk about within this over-under, guys. We have a bonus one because it's a big game. However, we have a reoccurring one, it seems like, to start things off here. We have a Jason Tatum 25-point over-under tonight, guys. What do we have?
See, I really don't know because last night I took the over against the Orlando Magic.
Took the over.
And I was very disappointed. And, we look at the stats, and Jason Tatum does get over 25. But, I don't know. What did he finish with last night? Was it 20?
20 flat, I think. Was it 14?
Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
You got 14.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unlike
that's
9
against,
of
that's
20-something shooting.
See, that's against the Orlando Magic. Again, I know I said we're going to need a big game from him. I'm going to go over because this is me being confident, and this is me maybe being a little bit biased. But mostly this is me being confident with hopes Jason Tatum has a big night. That's kind of what I'm going for on this one.
I'm going to join you. Celtics Heat, big game, almost primetime game. Top of the East versus the Celtics.
Bottom of the East.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to assume that Jason Tatum's coming to play no matter what. So yeah, I'm going to take a Jason Tatum plus 25, I think, for sure.
Man, Jason Tatum has just been a complete letdown this entire season thus far. Outside of the Charlotte game. I don't want to take the under because if he gets over, then I'll be burned.
No, I wouldn't say that.
If I take the over, I'm not too confident it's going to happen because he scored 14 points against the Orlando Magic last night. The Orlando Magic. He's supposed to break out of the slump at some point. However, I just haven't seen it. We haven't seen it yet. And they're the best defensive team. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under on Tatum.
I'm with you, Seamus. I'm going under. I want to see Jason Tatum drop 40 tonight. I really, really do. But I just don't feel like it's going to happen. Also, it feels like anytime he plays the Heat, he gets PTSD flashbacks from the bubble and Bam Adebayo. So I'm gonna go with the under.
The under. All right.
That was the moment where everything turned. Really, like after that moment, nothing was correct with the Celtics ever.
Yeah. No.
Basically.
So the next one we got here, the Celtics have kind of struggled all year with winning the first quarter. In first quarter scoring. Last night we saw them. They lost to the Orlando Magic. Got outscored 26-28 against the Chicago Bulls. I believe they tied the first quarter 33-33. I want to say. So we either see the Celtics have a really high scoring game, but the other team matches, or they don't score a lot and they find themselves in a hole. So do the Celtics win the first quarter here tonight against the Miami Heat? Sorry.
So
I don't want to be pessimistic, but no, I don't see him winning the first quarter. I'm sorry. I know it sounds like I'm being pessimistic and I don't have any hope in the Celtics in this game, but I don't see it. They've gone off to terrible starts in every single game, I would say, even the games they've won. The only game that I can remotely remember them having a somewhat okay start was against the Knicks, that was the first game. And other than that, I don't see it. I say no. I don't see them winning.
I'm going to join you. I'm joining you there, Ian. I don't think they win the first quarter either.
This could be a weird game, though, where they win the first quarter by 1 and then get smacked the other 3 quarters. That sometimes happens. I'm gonna go.
I don't know if this is gonna be such a blowout loss, everyone's narrating it to be. Like it could be. It could easily be.
I want to say something. I'm sorry. I hate
the trends are bad. The trends.
Okay, the trends are bad. Yes, definitely they're bad. But outside that Raptors game, right? That's the only game this season the Celtics kind of got blown out. We were up on Chicago 19 at home in fourth quarter collapse. Game 1 against Washington at home, we were in that game throughout the course of the game. We really couldn't get that final push to win that game. Washington game 2, we should have won in overtime. We're up by 6. We couldn't close the deal, right? And then obviously the Hornets, we outplayed the Hornets, and then the Rockets, we beat them, the Magic. So I don't think this season has been the Celtics come onto the court and get ran off the court. I think this season is the Celtics have come onto the court, they keep it competitive all game, and then the fourth quarter, they just can't close the deal, and it slips away from them. So I don't think the Boston Celtics are going to come in here and get ran off the court. Sure, there's a possibility.
I don't see that either.
Good, but the trends haven't been the Celtics get ran off the court. The trends have actually been the Celtics keep it competitive and then let it slip away at the end.
I have a counter argument to this, though. We're facing the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, they might be the best team in the NBA. I'm going to go we don't win the first quarter. I hope it's not a blowout. I really don't. However, I'm a big believer in this Heat team as an NBA fan. The Celtics, I need to see it from the Celtics first. Before we start betting Jason Tatum over 25 and the Celtics win the first quarter, I just need to see it a couple more times out of them before I feel comfortable hitting their overs, because the Celtics team, I feel like we've come on here every pregame and it's been, they do this tonight, we'll have Tatum turn up, we'll have Brown turn up, Schroeder, maybe Horford, of course, is turning up every night, but it just hasn't really culminated yet, and I don't know. I'm taking the under on
first quarter.
On first quarter.
Yeah, like I said, I think the Heat are a good basketball team, a great basketball team, mind you. I think they're going to be the top of the East, top 2 or 3 all year. I think they've shown that. But I don't, like I said, the Celtics, I don't expect, I'd be surprised if they came on and got blown out. I'd be surprised personally, because this year we haven't seen other than the one exception to the Raptors game, which even still, that game was relatively close until the second half, where the Raptors just kind of took advantage of the Celtics not executing. So I don't think this is going to be and hopefully I hope I'm not jinxing anything.
This is the best team we faced.
Totally. I agree. Best team we faced. But yeah, the best team we faced. But like I said, I don't think the Celtics come in here and get blown out. I think they keep it competitive. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think they keep it competitive, keep it within reach all game.
Yeah, we also have to see how they respond to back-to-back on the road, too, because I've not seen that out of them yet this year as well.
Well, there's one common thing here, guys, and I've always said it. We do need Justin's over-under here before. Al Horford, right? That is the one thing that's going to keep this that's different about this Celtics team. I think people need to really start remembering that. Al Horford. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Justin, what is your over-under for the first quarter?
I'm going to go. Now, this isn't me being overconfident, by the way. I just kind of think this is more of a I hope. I'm going to go over. Look, I'm going into these with maybe a little bit of a biased asset, but I want to be able to enjoy this. I'm not saying like Seamus said, this could be a game where the Celtics win the first quarter and then just get ran out of the gym the next 3 quarters, they even just lose the game. Just because I'm just going to go out and say, just because I say the Celtics go over doesn't mean I'm going to say they're going to blow them out or they're definitely going to win. But I don't know. I have hope in this team. I have hope they're going to turn it around. And if there's a game to turn it around, it's against the Miami Heat on the road on NBA TV. There's really no excuses tonight. I mean, yeah, you're on a second night of back-to-back, but other than Richardson, nobody else is out. Tatum, Brown has been playing phenomenal. Horford's been playing phenomenal. Jason Tatum improved the last game, although his shot hasn't fallen. We saw a lot better effort. I might just be a little bit confident,
Well, confidence is good here. Boston Celtics. Now we got, obviously tip-off is in just a moment. We are going to be wrapping up here relatively soon. We got 2 more to go. Last one, or second to last one. Heat got a great bench, right? So do Celtics. Celtics are a little bit shallow tonight. No Richardson. Do the Celtics outscore the Heat's bench?
Like the Celtics bench outscoring the Heat bench?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Team.
No, the Heat in general.
Yeah, the Celtics bench outscored the Heat. God, I hate that I'm saying no and I'm taking the pessimistic answer every single time. But I think the Heat bench beats out the Celtics bench just because I believe in Tyler Hero that much. So that's the thing.
Tyler Hero.
I'm hoping the next question actually allows me to be positive about the Celtics because I've been negative this entire time.
I'm saying yes.
You got to put in perspective, Ian. You're not terribly pessimistic here. Don't forget, Josh Richardson is a huge miss off this bench. You know what I mean? Put that into perspective.
Yeah, defense.
100%. And I know it's not I know I'm not being intentional. It's just answers. So
do we know what the Heat?
I see.
Do we know what the Heat's bench is?
3 and 5.
Well, they have Tyler Hero averaging.
Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, who's a 2-way player this year off the Hornets.
Yeah.
Dwayne Dedmon, Markieff Morris, and then that pretty much rounds out their bench there. I mean,
they run a 7 to 8 man roster too, don't they? 7 to 8 man rotation on nights, don't they? They run a very short rotation.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't hear what you
7
said.
or 8. It's 7 or 8. Yeah.
Did you take the yes or no? There?
Can go to 9. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Heat bench. Ooh, it's really. I think this question is: can Dennis Schroeder outscore Tyler Hero?
That's a good way to look at it.
That's kind of that's the 2 main point sources. I don't think that's the case. I think the Heat bench win, but it's another one of those. I have to see it first. I have to see it. I hope I'm wrong, but I have to see it.
Justin,
I'm gonna go under as well.
Under.
I think it's gonna be a big night for the starters. I mean, I hope it's a great night for the bench, but we're really gonna need a big night from the starters tonight. More importantly than maybe the bench.
For sure. All right, now last one, the bonus one. What's up?
No, go ahead, Rob.
All right, so last one is the bonus round. All kind of big games here against good teams. You have a bonus one. We usually do 3. Al Horford, man's leading the league in blocks. Does Al Horford go over or under 2.5 blocks tonight?
Ooh, 2.5.
2.6.
We've been. I think, like Ian said, this is the answer we can be a little optimistic about, right? I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna go over.
There'll be a lot of opportunities for him to get.
I'm going over. I'm doing it. I'm finally putting my faith in the Celtics, and I hope they don't let me down.
I want to go
but
over.
Al Horford hasn't let me down yet. So
yeah, Al Horford's been the reliable guy.
I know. I want to go over, but I feel like if Al's on PJ Tucker, he's going to be out in the 3-point line.
Yeah, but a lot of his blocks have been on the perimeter, I think.
Yeah, he had one last night.
So I'll join you guys just to kind of join the crew over. I'm not as confident with this over 2.5 is a lot, good kind of blocks.
Can I ask a serious question? Has Bam Adebayo extended his range out to 3-pointers or no? Because I've seen him hit a couple, but I don't know if that was just because of a blowout. Mid-range shooter.
Yeah, he can hit the mid-range.
He hasn't taken a 3 this year.
He's kind of a carbon copy of Robert Williams, I feel like, in terms of he could kind of knock down a mid-range if he needs to.
At least he has a 0 3-point percentage, so unless he's taken a 3 and he missed it, but so it doesn't look like he's even taken one.
Yeah, well, big game tonight. Boston Celtics are at the 6-1 Miami Heat tonight. Tip off is just in a couple minutes rather. It'll be right around 7:40. We're gonna take you right up to tip, guys. Last thoughts, last words before we head out and we watch this game tonight.
Go out and compete.
For real. I mean, they come out flat tonight. If you look at their schedule, the Celtics have a tremendous chance to pull this whole season around in these next 2 games. Miami Heat, Dallas Mavericks. If you come home from the road trip, that 3-game road trip. You already have a win over the Magic. You come home 3-0 with wins over the Heat and Mavs, and you're now back to 500. You feel a lot different about yourself than when you left at 2-5. So they have a huge chance to turn this thing around. Hopefully it starts tonight.
All right, so this is airing on the pessimism again, but the worst blowout loss the Celtics have ever had, it was in 2003. It was 118-66 against the Detroit Pistons.
Man.
So as long as that doesn't happen tonight, I think I'll be happy.
See,
But at the same time, I agree. I'm joking. I'm joking about the blowout thing because I know we were just talking about it and how I don't think they're gonna get blown out tonight. I feel like they're gonna play a hard game. I want to see Tatum have his coming out game of the season.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't think they're gonna get blown out, but also Seamus said it best. I think this is a really good basketball team, and if Jason Tatum doesn't show up, this could go downhill really fast. Unless Jaylen Brown pulls another 40-point game, out of his ass, which I hope happens. Honestly, I'd kind of prefer it to be Tatum just so he can show us something. But there's not a lot of room for error tonight, and I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I do think there's a good chance it's a blowout. I don't think it's going to happen though. But Celtics got to rebound. They got to play with a lot of pace. They got to put points up on the board, and they got to get stops. And I know it's a lot to do. And that's what happens when you play a good basketball team is you got to have a complete 48-minute game of basketball, and that's what has to happen here tonight, guys. Like I said, Boston Celtics at Miami Heat. Tip off very, very shortly, guys. Join us back here for post-game live. Post-game live is a lot of fun. You see our reactions. If they win, it's happy fun, and if they lose, you can come in. You can shit on the Boston Celtics with us. Yeah. So
come join the therapy session.
Come join totally.
Post-game show.
It's a lot of fun.
We use the Toronto Raptors as our punching bag.
Although Toronto looks pretty good this season. I'm just saying.
Might make the playoffs over us.
Jeez.
Yeah. So. Like I said, guys, go follow us on all our social medias. Celtics Talk Weekly or our personals will be in the description down below. And let's go Celtics.